Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to Oh When the Town. Everton's point deduction reduced to 6, which takes them up to 15th in the division, but the Premier League are considering further punishment for both Everton and Nottingham Forest, and we won't know the outcome of that until April the 9th at the earliest, and any appeal could mean teams may not know how the league finishes and what's going to happen until well after the season is finished. So that doesn't make any sense, doesn't it, really? We're going to be talking a bit more about that. Are the Premier League a bunch of clowns when it comes to making these sort of decisions? But also, should we really take it into account? Because Rob Edwards not thinking of it too much at all, is he? So we've got that in mind as well. And we've also got, of course, a reaction from the Liverpool game, which was, I don't know how to describe it. What an evening that was at Anfield. The noise for once at Anfield was really, really, really loud. We'll talk about that. We'll have a quick preview of the Manchester City game. And on top of that, we have your 3-word reviews from Liverpool and much, much more. And with me, as always, we've got Steve and Bataro. How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, very good, mate. Lovely to see you.
Good, thank you very much.
So we might well just buy ourselves straight into this point deduction fiasco. What do you know about it? What are you thinking about the situation as it is?
Well, your summary at the start is basically sort of all I know. How can you have something where, you know, the appeal could go on past the end of the season? You know, that is an absolute debacle. On my way home this evening, listening to the radio, and they were saying that basically the Premier League haven't got a clue how to organise themselves. You know, they've tried to make out that they're efficient, that they can govern themselves to keep the government out of it. But, you know, how can you possibly have that, you know, where we have got enough points on paper or whatever to stay up, or whoever it may be, you know, it could be Forest or, you know, whoever. And then there's a meeting after that to decide.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Whatever is decided, that the people that fall foul of it are going to say, well, that's corrupt. Either way, this is going to go legal.
Do you think, Bataro, we should do what Rob Edwards has already said and just ignore it anyway and just get on with our games?
I think we have to. We just have to focus on ourselves and just stay up on our own merit. But no, honestly, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like the fact that you can go past the season, you're like kind of stuck in limbo thinking, are we down, are we up? Do you know what I mean? Like,
How can the Premier League improve this position? Should there be some sort of scale for them? You know, if you're over by X pounds, this is your points deduction. Because let's be honest, whether you want to dress it up the way that Everton dressed it up or not, because of interest rates on loans and whatever else, and, you know, fair play to Everton for getting their points back. I don't blame them for appealing. Remember, we weren't allowed to appeal any of our points
That's right, because
deductions.
we wouldn't have got our ticket back,
which is a load of rubbish, isn't it? But they was over the £115 million permitted loss. So they should get punished for that, right?
of course, they're there to be adhered to, aren't they? The rules and regulations, whatever else, and clearly they haven't. So yeah, of course.
Your example though, Dave, you know, for example, if you're X amount over, you get that. That's almost makes it like a shopping list. You know, a club would think, oh well, we can stomach that, so we'll go and spend. You know, I don't think you can have that in place. There's a zero tolerance. That's where the line is.
But there isn't a zero tolerance, so that's the big point. There isn't a zero tolerance on that.
Well, only because of their incompetence, you know, the Premier League. But you can't have well, if you do that, that's going to be the penalty, because some clubs will think, well, we can stomach that, we can deal with that. So, you know, it's almost encouraging it. You know, so no, it's got to be, if you go over, then we'll decide what you get.
So just imagine Nottingham Forest get a 9-point deduction, because that's all you get when you go into admin. So I think the commission said that Everton weren't entirely frank with their disclosure of their stadium funds. You know, what does that mean?
Well, it's flirting around it. They just haven't got the balls to say exactly what they want to say, because that will probably end up in court. But yeah, it's just almost like, an old social club, how that would be run. No, but it is though. And you think the amount of money involved, and there's just no competence about how any of this has been dealt with. And I'm sure Everton fans will agree with that. And Forest are going to get bought into it. And maybe in 4 or 5 years when they've got the balls to deal with Man City, then they'll feel the same.
Well, that's the thing. It's everybody's waiting for Man City to be punished. And, there's been precedent set before. Swindon get invited into the Premier League or get promotion and then relegated 2 divisions because of financial irregularities. Chelsea or Tottenham do the same thing and get a slap on the wrist.
Yep.
It's a big boy syndrome, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah. And I think we've seen various examples of that on and off the pitch, though, haven't we?
Well, there is that as well. And when you look, I don't know everything behind Nottingham Forest, but when you look at their arrival in the Premier League and how many players they bought the first season... 20-something.
Was it 24? Was it 24 players that season signed?
It was a crazy amount, yeah.
And the thing is, you knew straight away, this is the thing, if nothing had come out about Nottingham Forest, you'd have questioned it, because there's been teams that are saying, they've not done, well, I don't know what they've done for exactly reasons, but teams signing 24 players at the prices they were paying for these players and the wages they were paying. They were paying 50, 60 grand a week to some of them, coming straight up from the Championship. How many years they've been in it? It just don't make sense, does it? But
no.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, do you know what? I've kept myself quiet a little bit here because I'll be honest, I'm sitting here just in my own brain just getting a bit mad. I can feel my face heating up.
That'll be the new lighting that we've got, mate.
Yeah, I have to take some suntan lotion, don't I? But no, it just infuriates me, I'll be honest. It really does.
Well, what can we do differently?
I think all we
money caps. Sorry.
Well, I think all we can do is do our business financially the way we are doing it. I think a lot of it is sort of out of our control. In the big scheme of things, you just got to hope that common sense and prevails and that people do actually stand up and enforce the rules.
I think people need to step in as well and look at the amount of money that's been thrown around in football, with the wages, your sign-on fees, etc. You need to look at that. I think there needs to be a cap. Because it's pathetic. You can pay certain players in the world £300,000-400,000 a week. Probably, do you know what? More than that, actually. Look at Saudi Arabia or whatever, what they're doing.
Yeah, but unless
it's outrageous.
Yeah, but unless there's a global reset button and no one wants that.
Well, this is where the governing bodies need to step in, though, surely, and but they're not going to because they're getting. paid for it.
They're not really interested in it going down that route. So yeah, unfortunately, it makes it a bit of a free for all.
And I know a lot of people sit there and go, who are obviously Luton fans, they say, of course you're going to say that because you haven't got as much money, blah, blah. And I always get it all the time, money this, money that. And it pisses me off because all people seem to think now, when they see football, is pound signs.
I am quite happy with us doing our business the way we're doing it.
It would be good to overtake a team on merit, regardless of whether or not they've had a point deduction.
Yep.
And then you can't say, and you can't take that stuff off the back of, you only stayed up because. And we're quite entitled to think that way, and there is still time for us to do that. We're only 4 points behind Nottingham Forest if they don't get a point deduction.
And did I hear on the radio we've got a game in hand as well, and they've got to come to our place. It is so all there to play for.
It's in our own hands still, which is good. But
it is. It's just a shame that we look a little bit threadbare at the moment all of a sudden, don't we?
Yeah. Sheffield United and Burnley are 11 points behind now. So that is almost insurmountable for them, isn't it?
What was Company doing? I know we're not fans of the Burnley keeper, but, they dropped him at the weekend and put in a 20-year-old lad who's only had League One experience.
Well, because he's probably looking to get a sack, isn't he?
I don't know, but surely, surely you've got to look after that young lad as well. Because they got done, was it 5 again? What good is that going to do to him? Yeah, Burnley got done by
Christ,
by Palace, wasn't that?
I thought it was 3.
Was it 3?
It was
3.
3.
Okay,
5 the week before.
Jeez, I thought how many pints I drank at the weekend then. I was like, what?
Well, we'll say it
clearly it was you, wasn't it?
But, it just makes you wonder. I saw quite a lot of sort of Burnley and Sheffield United fans over the weekend on Twitter basically just saying, just sick of it. Things that we've talked about, the Premier League fouls and the way the refs sort of lap it up. It just seems it's easy for other clubs to say, oh, look at those fans, they're just moaning because they're down the bottom. But apart from the money, there's not an awful lot that I would miss from the Premier League.
I give you that. A match day away is good fun. But
was in the Championship, was in League One, League Two.
I think just being in the top division for a little bit longer would suit me fine, Steve, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I was going to say though, like everybody thought Burnley and Sheffield United would do well, but they have been so far off the pace at
Shocking,
times.
aren't they?
Unreal. We haven't been in that position yet, Batara.
No, of course. Like I said, I was one at the beginning of the season, Dave. I kept saying to you, no, Burnley won't stay down there. Burnley won't stay down there. And they are. But I'm very surprised, to be fair. Very shocked about it. Just because you throw £90 million at the situation doesn't mean you're going to get results. But
there's been a lot of clubs that have spunked an awful lot of money over the years, isn't there?
Wasted as well.
While we're talking about the Championship, the rumour is that our boys up the road might be getting yet another manager in.
Oh, really? Oh, God, I say that how shocked we are. Amazing.
Anyway,
it is great.
Yeah,
it is great.
Well, it's more ironic that we have their former manager and we're doing fairly well.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I saw something on Twitter yesterday. Some guy, I think, done a radio phone in, and he swore like he's obviously a Watford fan. He's it's infuriating me that Rob Edwards is down the road doing so well. We probably keep him up, fucking hell, all this sort of stuff. I'm sitting there going, I love this guy. Let's lap this up a little bit more. Come on.
Yeah.
I love the way that we've attacked the season, and we talked about those away day experience. So it's a good time just to switch over to the points deduction will sort itself out, and we're going to try and ignore that, but it's always in the back of your mind. Let's hope it works itself out in our favour in the end. But if it doesn't, let's hope we've got enough points to not worry about it.
Yeah.
But we talk about away trips, and you talk about trips that we haven't done for a long time. And Anfield on Wednesday last week was an incredible experience, Steve.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would phrase it. I was thinking about it on the way home on that never-ending coach journey, and I think that is the loudest league game that I've ever been in, and I've been going since '77.
What, Liverpool fans actually singing?
Honestly, I've never...
their support, which, it was an important game for them, but I think it shows that we were getting them a bit rattled. They were really narked through most of the first half. I mean, Liverpool were great in the first half, but we were really a threat when we had the opportunity, and we were sort of stifling them and I think that generated the level of support that they were getting. But it was loud, and with the new stand behind us being fully open.
Oh, it was open.
That's
the
fully
first
open.
time?
But no. I think it's been a couple of games now at least. But it was really loud.
Was a cacophony of sound. I've never heard Anfield that loud, and I've been a few times.
Yeah,
I have never heard it that loud.
So I went at the beginning of the season, didn't I, to watch obviously Liverpool West Ham, and I thought the atmosphere was absolutely shocking.
It can be there.
Yeah.
It really can be. But on the night, it was quite an experience.
When we went there and we lost, was it 5-0 in the cup game?
Yeah.
They made hardly any noise. With respect, they were 5-0 up, nothing.
Yeah. Maybe the game was quite boring for them, and they knew they were through.
I don't really care. Surely you back your team, right?
Oh,
back your team. And
yeah.
if you got 5,000 or 6,000 away supporters of that night, or however many of us there were that night, surely you try and counteract that.
Well, you'd think so.
But in the past, they've always talked about that marvellous Anfield atmosphere and European nights. It makes me want to go to see a European game day, if I'm honest.
Are they all like that though? Again, I think it's a special occasion, and
when they're playing Club Brugge in the group stage and they're 6-0 up, probably like, oh, this is good fun.
Yeah, but no, I say it was something else. So I tried to think of a louder league game, and I couldn't really remember one.
Maybe we were,
but then I couldn't remember that Osho scored just a few weeks ago. So my memories were from
don't
nothing.
Look at me.
Yeah, well, there's one for producer Jacob to put out there, and for in your comments. What's the loudest away game or football game you've ever been at? And
excluding Wembley.
We can exclude Wembley, and you can exclude the league playoff semi-finals. League game. Let's talk about league games. What's the loudest league game you've ever been at? And I'd be interested to see, because I don't really want to big up Liverpool in that way, but do you know what? Honestly, it was an amazing atmosphere, and from at times from us.
Yep.
I mean, the reaction to our goal was amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
I've even forgotten the score. It's 4, wasn't it?
4. Yeah, because my grandson predicted the right score on the coach, so he was, I've got all this money, Grandad. Did I get any of it? No.
I just won over in the town bingo there, Steve. Thanks very much. Let's look at your 3-word reviews on the Liverpool game. Ashley said it was a great first half. Joe, disappointed second half. Kevin buckled under the pressure. Lindsay, too many injuries. Steve, the squad is stretched. Ben, crowd released beast. Ad said January window haunting. Dan, Sambi is pivotal. Peter, we need points. And Sandy said Liverpool were relentless. Which would you like to take?
Liverpool were relentless. As I said to you before you start the pod, Dave, like it's just ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, especially that second half. I think there was a 25-minute period in the second half.
The way they pressed us, I think Robbie Edwards said it was good that our players experienced it. Because he's talked about it apparently, and it was overwhelming. Yeah. At times, it was overwhelming.
To be fair, I mean, if you say, for example, you're a Luton player, and you're up against obviously that Liverpool press, sorry. You must be thinking, Christ almighty, I'm not going to be training tomorrow because you're not going to be able to get out of bed, are you? You'd be cramping up, the amount of running. I would love to see their stats, like how many kilometres of running or whatever they do. That was nuts. But yeah.
Well, for me, Dan's Sambi is pivotal. What a majestic effort he put in. You know,
he's a wonderful footballer. Really.
That moment about 25 yards out where there's two of them, like hyenas on an injured wildebeest, and he just managed to sort of get out of it, but then just put a lovely ball sort of straight up the middle of the park.
I think at the time I was probably shouting at him, because I thought he'd given away possession, and they were going to get a goal from it, but he recovered quite well, didn't he? And then played a decent ball out.
Just on that moment, there was one or two times again that night where it might have been Lukonga, but definitely Barkley. You've got to play the easy ball. But then I reminded myself what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, and he doesn't want to do the easy ball. He wants to hurt teams, but there's just a little bit of balance in there, but Christ, I mean, they really did hunt us down at times. That second half was hard work. It was
frightening, I'll be honest. Like, as soon as obviously you were 1-0 up at half time,
they all seem to have amazing pace, or awareness.
Do you know what the scary thing is as well? It wasn't even their strongest team either.
No, it wasn't.
Quite a few injuries.
I thought, is it Elliot, the left-footed lad? He was really good on the night.
He's quality, yeah.
Well, we've always said if we're going to go and lose a game like this, can we score first? And that's what we actually did. And it makes it meaningful. And when that goal went in, when Ogbenny scored, I was in heaven. All of us behind the goal were
just gobsmacked, weren't we?
Well, we didn't expect it, but what a thrill! What a good reaction. But that was Chong that made that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, again, a shot deflected. Head at the back post or whatever, Same as against who played the weekend?
Don't bring me in.
Oh Christ almighty! You know what I'm on about. Obviously when Morris scored.
Yeah, them.
Last week before, whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
Come on, boys.
This is getting better. This is for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Welcome to Dementias.
Hello.
You can get it in a second. It'll come to you.
I can't think. It's all right.
Bataro, we're united on this. We can get it. We can remember who it was.
Yeah, he was totally united on it, weren't you?
We were. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll give it. I can remember that. I'm so sorry. It was It was a late night last night.
No good having a united front, then, is it?
No, exactly.
No, fair enough then.
Okay, right, move on, Dave.
Come on, man.
I got it. But I can't say it was Man United, could I? Because obviously by that point it's very obvious. But
listen, it was a goal that was unexpected, but really pleased, and it actually shut the Kop up for a bit.
Yeah, it did. And again, I just thought when we had the ball during the first half, we really were trying to make something of it. We were getting the ball out wide. There was some beautiful movement in the middle third, getting the ball out to the wing or getting it up to the front players. I thought we moved the ball really well.
Oh, we did. We were finding gaps as well. That's what I really appreciate. The fact that we were giving it a go. We weren't just sitting there and trying to hoofball or whatever else. We're actually playing football.
And when you see the level of sort of support and then the level of celebration at the end, and at the final whistle, it was pointed out to me, Harvey and Elliot and a couple of other players, they just sat down. They'd worked their absolute socks off. And again, if you can take credit from a 4-1 defeat, it's the fact that we worked them so hard. And I think first half, they would have been a little bit, we know we're on top, but they were struggling to find a way.
I didn't really think they made any clear-cut chances, really, in the first half.
I think actually they had a couple where I think they were controlled well. And a lot of that was, the midfield working really hard and the back four back 3, 5, or whatever they were, doing a brilliant job. And then just before the end of the first half, Lukonga gets a feeling in his hamstring.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, okay, let's hope that's fine. Second half comes, he doesn't come out, and you immediately think, oh.
Yeah,
But from
upsets the balance, doesn't it?
honestly, but from the very beginning of that second half, the noise at Anfield was big, and it was just wave after wave after wave of attacking.
Yeah, I think relentless is the absolute perfect word for it. I've not experienced anything like it. You know, the attacking that they were doing, but it was all over the pitch. There wasn't a spare second anywhere. You know, that they just seemed to have so much pace and aggression, and it wasn't just one person. There's like 2 or 3 of them on you. I mean, God knows how. You know, they must have put some miles in themselves and that. But
well, this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not experienced
What's
that
it been
before.
described as? Obviously, Klopp's football, like that heavy metal football, as they call it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I think it's one of the best football styles that I've seen. To be fair,
I mean, money does buy you the best, you know. So they've got the best athletes that are coupled with, you know, the best skill, etc., etc. So, you know,
of course,
there should be a gap sort of between us like that. But seeing it in the flesh, it was pretty intimidating, to be honest with you.
We said before many a time, if we're going to lose or going to concede, can we concede to really brilliant goals? I'm going to put it to you that we were a bit off it for the first 2. Unmarked header for the first goal in the corner, and then I don't know, maybe Chong not paying attention when the throw-in was on, and then was it Doughty who sliced the ball out to their player, who did finish well, to be fair, but we're sort of part of our own downfall there, Batari, surely.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, obviously there was a game plan to pass out from the back and play football and whatever else. Obviously it didn't happen so much in the second half, but it was quite, I can't really say infuriating. I'd say it's frustrating that the amount of times that we got caught out with the ball in our own third, which is, but you kind of get why, because you try and keep possession, because as soon as you lump the ball upfield, you're giving it straight back to Liverpool, and it's on again, isn't it? It's like you're getting absolutely,
And you think, I mean, the Luton players, there was no let up. You know, they must have been absolutely exhausted. I mean,
I think that's why we did.
Yeah,
concede
I mean,
that
halfway through the second half, we looked really, really tired, and you know, because the amount of effort that we were putting in just to try and keep our heads above water, and I just think that relentless attacking and pace and aggression, I think it just told in the end, and we were wiped.
So first goal goes in. Your man who scored the winning goal in their League Cup final, Virgil.
Is that Virgil van Dijk?
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk. It was a pretty similar thing, really. Really right place, right time, but free header.
Yeah, I mean, I've not looked at it back, so I don't know. But you know,
it's unstoppable.
I mean, but was there any blocking by one of their other players? You know, it's things that all the teams do. But if he gets a free run on it, he's going to get it.
It was a bit of a kick in the teeth, really, because you know it was coming. It was 100% coming. There was no way, as a fan, if you're watching that game, you didn't know what was coming to you. But it was a bit of a kick in the proverbials when, you know, 2 minutes later they get another one.
Well, this is it. As soon as that first goal went, I thought, my instant reaction was, well, that's probably the game gone now, because you can't, they're not going to let up, are they, after just scoring 1 goal? And it was like you say, was it 2 minutes later, was it? They scored their second, and you thought, this could be a long second half here.
Yeah.
But we were a bit slow with the throw. We didn't react well from the throw-in. And I'm going to say again, I think Chong switched off for a couple of seconds, didn't expect the ball to go where it went, and before you know it, it's in the back of the net. Now, I'm not blaming Chong at all, but you've got to stay switched on when you're there, haven't you?
So this is where it's the Premier League's a different animal now, isn't it? Like, we've seen it. We saw it against Arsenal at home. I think they took a quick throw, wasn't it? And obviously fell asleep yet again, one of them ones. But this is the difference between the Championship and the Premier League. You might get like a second. In the Premier League, you don't. You get like 0.12 of a second.
You could even say that's the difference between the top of the Premiership and the lower part of it. You know, we haven't been caught wanting that way too many times.
No,
but you know, again, mate, you know, they were all switched on. There was good movement. I can't criticise them, to be honest with you, for any of it, because it was just an overwhelming display by Liverpool that it just swamped us.
And to be fair to Liverpool, it probably was one of their best performances of recent, because they don't get it wrong, they've been doing really well, obviously the top of the table, or whatever, but they have had games where they haven't really looked great, and they've still been getting results, which is a sign of a good team, obviously. But then I think, like I say, against us, they just turned it on, because we did play well. That's the point. We played well, and they just played even better.
Yeah, miles better. Yeah.
It is frustrating, and then the third and the fourth goal comes right on 90 minutes. Kaminsky, by the way, had a blinder. He couldn't have stopped the goals, but some of the saves he made on the night were outstanding.
Yep.
And I think, Steve, when we were there, I would say, please don't let this be 6 or 7, but it could have been 7, 8. They had 29 shots.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to have one of those nights where everything goes in more or less, then it could have been, and that would have been harsh on us, because even though it was sort of a defensive battle, I still think you could get some sort of reward from that, and anything more than it would have been harsh on the amount of effort and work the lads put in.
We still had our own chances as well, Bataru. There was extra chances when we were 2-1, 3-1 down. One I figured we could have done better. Like Ross Barkley had a good chance. Still creating, so that's a good sign.
Oh, of course. To be fair, I'm trying to think. This is like near enough a week ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I've obviously slept a few times since then, so it's getting quite difficult. It's all becoming a bit of a blur. But no, look, like I said, we did all right, and we did look dangerous. There was passes. I think we must have got into their area a few times as well, especially in the first half. And you thought, this could go a bit different. But look, it's up against Liverpool. It's
it ended how we expected it to.
Yeah, I think so.
For me, I mean, you didn't go to Anfield thinking we're definitely going to win.
No.
Could we, by some miracle? They were top of the league. But I mean, their performance was a league-winning performance for me. That's how I felt they played. But we weren't going to win. Didn't expect to win. We didn't win. But the only thing that would have made that night different and better for me, apart from not losing, would have been scoring the goal at our end of the pitch. That would have made it much better for me. But you know what? The rest of it was great. I enjoyed the new stand. I enjoyed the atmosphere.
I think Ogbene enjoyed scoring it at the Kop end.
Well, I'll give you that, yeah. Well, I suppose it's always good. And just hanging on. And, Radio 5 Live giving us a quick plug to see whether or not I could talk to him if we won. If we won. It was pathetic that I said to them, no. Well, yeah, I'll talk to you, but you're not going to be talking to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what more to say about that one. I think we did really, really well. I mean, some of the possession things here and some facts that producer Jacob's given us. Our first defeat in five away games before that.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cool. And I just read one I wanted to read out to you. Luton have played away at Liverpool without ever winning more often than any other opponent in our history, which I find crazy, which also means that next season we'll have to put one over on them.
Yep.
And Luton are one of two sides, along with Sheffield United, yet to keep a clean sheet away from home in the Premier League this season.
Okay.
It's a big one, that one.
Yeah, of course.
But having said that, I'm still thinking that we're good enough to stay up.
Of course we are. Even with this whole points business, it's irrelevant. We are good enough. Like you say, we've got a game in hand over Forest. Okay, cool. I think it's the Bournemouth game, is it? But even still, I mean, look at the performances we're putting in every single week, maybe barring the Sheffield United game. I think have been pretty on a level where you like even pundits, even like TalkSport and talk shows. Not that often whatever they say half the time, it's irrelevant, but they're actually like saying that we are a good footballing side. And everyone, like the people in and around, obviously looking from the outside, they look at us and go, who don't actually watch us, go, Luton, they're scraping results, they're a bit shit, this and that. But people that actually watch us are actually like, giving us recommendations or, do you know what I mean?
We've got a decent shout if we get our players back. We need Elijah back. We need Lukonga back, from slight hamstring. We need all of our players fit and available. As earlier this evening, we sort of Rob Edwards' press conference, and he said it's touch and go if we're going to see Nakamba again this season. Whereas, only a few days ago on Twitter, there was a video of him on the treadmill and on the weight. So that's really disappointing. I don't know if there's been like a setback or something, but that was really disappointing to hear that. Well,
talking of all our injuries and talking about our forthcoming, because no football of the weekend, how bad was that? But obviously, this week we have a big FA Cup tie at Kenilworth Road. It's on national television. Manchester City are in town again, and it's the first FA Cup meeting between Luton and Manchester City since January 1969.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Were you there, Dave?
No, sadly not. I went the following season, sadly, but I would have gone if I was old enough. What what we think of the FA Cup, it's I suppose a distraction from where we are right now. Could we hope beyond all hopes? Could we have that upset? Are we due an upset, or are Maidstone United going to do a Coventry? Is that the upset?
I'm really split on how we're going to approach this. To be honest with you, I mean, right up until sort of yesterday or today, really, we're going to put out a weakened side. We're going to protect our players. We're going to let them get a bit of energy back. And it may well be that is definitely the way that we go. I'm sure we're going to see Krul play. But then I'm starting to think, people saying, well, the points deduction, it is what it is. It's just another game. Why don't we just go balls out, full strength that we can, and go for the cup? So I'm really sort of undecided which way I
think we'll
prefer
see a few
it.
changes, not many though.
Maybe.
Well, players at Real, Adebayo, Sambi, Mads, Brown, Nakamba, Locks, Kabore can't play.
No,
not allowed to play.
Yeah.
So does that create an opportunity for Hashi to come in? Maybe
see him on the bench potentially. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. It was.
You don't want to chuck him in the deep end, do you?
No, you don't. But it's a game where there's no Premier League points up for grabs, so maybe a bit of pressure off there. So it would be good. I think we all want to see him in that, but yeah, it's just difficult. I think we'd really give it a good go, but if there's another couple of injuries, which could happen, then we could be in trouble.
Hudson also wants us to win, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's him chanting out there, isn't it?
How are we going to beat Manchester City? How?
By scoring last minute goal and defending for our lives, the majority. So
yeah.
Are we worried about Haaland being in the team?
No.
I
think you've got to worry about all their players. They're all brilliant players. Do you know what I mean? It's insane the amount of quality they've got.
Yeah, I was going to say they could change all 10 or 11 and still have an absolutely world class side. I mean, Haaland is different to what the other sort of strikers give them, but Osho has got good strength. He's got aerial ability. He's got pace. But it just seems that Haaland's a bit of an animal. So it is what it is. But we've got players that can deal with it. If they're meticulous, sticking to the game plan. Of course, there's a way we can do it. I mean, we lost 2-1 to him in the league. Harry Cornick sort of scuffs the winner in Grealish, didn't he? So there is no reason why we can't get a couple of goals and really restrict them. I mean, it'd be a superhuman effort, tactically as well as physically. But of course we can do it.
Yeah, like you said, tactically, it's got to be a spot on from Rob Edwards.
The key, Bataro, is don't concede early.
Yeah, if you concede early, then
anything in the first 90. Yeah,
in the first 90.
Don't. No, we'll be fine. I reckon we'll be fine. I actually think we'll have a good performance, and I've really got a good feeling.
When you start looking at the stats, it is, worrying, is it? Manchester City are unbeaten in the last 9 minutes with Luton in all competitions. And I love this. I can't believe this is true, but if it isn't, Jacob, you're in big trouble. Their 2-1 win at Kenilworth Road in the Premier League this season, it was their only previous meeting with the Hatters this century, which is crazy thing to think about. And we haven't been in the quarterfinals for a long time.
No.
That was 93, 94. And we've gone out of this stage against Millwall and Chelsea in previous years, and I just feel maybe maybe if they don't fire on all cylinders, maybe if they get a bit of luck, would you a bit? Just maybe we can dream. Am I allowed to dream for a bit?
You're allowed to dream, yeah. How do you think, Luke? Do you think Luton will go as strong as they can, or a bit of protection?
Well, Aston Villa, for me, is more important.
Of course, yeah.
But if you want to win the FA Cup, you've got to put your best team out against Manchester City. If you don't put your best team out against Manchester City, you ain't beating them. End of story.
Like I said, I think we can put us still near enough full strength side. Like I said, I think Krul will probably come in. I think it depends on who we've got fit at the time, doesn't it? I think up front we're we very short up front now because obviously.
Well, yeah, because Jacob Brown's out.
Yeah. Adebayo's still out, is he?
Yeah, I mean, Mads Anderson must be absolutely gutted how the season unfolded for him. He must be absolutely gutted about
What's happened
this.
to him, by the way?
Injured.
That's all. To be fair, Bataro, I don't really know what's happened to him, but he's he's on the treatment bench as he's Brown's out for the rest of the season, isn't he? And
was it? Was it his knee? Was it?
Yeah. Adebayo, don't know what's wrong with him, but hopefully he comes back in the fray against Villa rather than putting and risking him against Manchester City, or if he comes on at Man City and just nods in a goal. But I know he's unavailable, so that's me dreaming again.
Jacob Brown, like, he's been very effective against Man City as well. That run he does.
Here's another silly fact from Jacob. Thanks, Jacob, for getting all these out for us. It's the first time Luton have had an FA Cup tie against the holders of the competition since 1986-87, which is a weird stat to have, isn't it? That year, I love that year. That's the Kenny Dalglish thing, isn't it?
It is.
With the Liverpool.
Yeah, with all the wasted food and everything.
Yeah, stuff and that was a brilliant year to go. And one more worrying stat. And again, if you want a stat check, it's down to producer Jacob if they're wrong. Manchester City have won each of their last FA Cup matches, and if you aggregate the score, 25-1.
Okay.
So we're in with a chance.
Yeah.
We're in with a chance. If you go into Kenilworth Road or if you watch it on the television, enjoy it, and let's just hope for a miracle. Is there extra time and pens, or is it replay?
I think it's on the night, isn't it?
Is it? So
is it?
If it's going to be on the night, then good. If we can get to that, then we stand a chance.
I'm sure there's. I don't know if it's this round and next round or something like that, where it's on the day.
They changed it, though.
Yeah,
last season.
Yeah, they carried on belittling their own tournament.
Well, it's crazy. And a weekday FA Cup match as well. It's insane, isn't it?
The games after Manchester City will be pivotal to our survival in the Premier League with Villa, Palace, Bournemouth, and Forest. So obviously we'll be talking about those next time. But there's always a chance. I just want to say also, following all the stuff that Tom Lockyer has been doing recently, record numbers of people have researched CPR after he urged people to go to the British Heart Foundation website and learn CPR in his media interviews, which I think is really, really good. And on that note, Mark Crowther, who's doing his cycling for the Premier League Challenge, he's set himself. He's cycling back to Bournemouth for the second fixture, but this time he's donating for that fixture all the money to the British Heart Foundation. So if you haven't sponsored Mark yet, get on his Twitter or get on his website, and if you want to leave some money, just for the people that help Tom Lockyer, really, isn't it? And help someone else get that. If you can do that, that'd be fantastic.
The poor man needs a break, doesn't he? Before his whole body breaks down.
Yeah.
Hello, Mark. I'm just thinking, you must be hurting right now. But yeah.
Well, fair play to Mark for doing that, and I wish him well on that one, and I hopefully see him at the game. Other than that, Ross Barkley linked by that rag, the Sun, just not going to happen.
Just lazy journalism.
Yeah. There's a different joke there, isn't there, Steve?
No.
Okay. And former Luton goalkeeper Kelvin Davis is the new manager of national side.
Yeah.
Easily. Good luck to him on that one as well. Yeah. I think that's all we've got time for tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please, as always, leave us a comment. If you see us at a game, come say hello. Yep. We'll be back. I think, do you know what? If we beat Manchester City, we'll do an extra one.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll see you after the Villa game. And take care. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And
Thank you,
hit that subscribe button. Thanks.